The wounded in hospitals in central Nigeria all share the same story. They are Christian, farmers, and have all been attacked by armed men suspected of being Fulani and Muslim herders. This woman has lost her hand and has had her face mutilated. This man was shot in the head. His family remains at his side in the hope that he will survive.
It's around 5:30 in the morning. He just had gunshot. He just wake up. Before he knew, they shot him. After they shot him, they stabbed him with matches and stick.
Over the last 5 years, violent clashes between the farmers and herders have resulted in 7,000 deaths in Nigeria, considerably more than those caused by the terrorist group Boko Haram, a conflict that leaves behind burnt villages and victims buried by the dozens in mass graves. The source of this conflict? Access to land and other scarce resources. Climate change and desertification have forced cattle breeders to migrate south in order to feed their livestock, which in turn has angered the local population. Attacks, reprisals. The conflict is getting worse day by day.
It has become so rampant and from village to village, and it's like it's still ongoing because there are still imminent threats of attacks still going on.
On that Sunday, hundreds of Christians who had fled their villages came to listen to Pastor Yohana Buru. From parish to parish, the pastor travels the country urging for dialogue between Christians and Muslims so as to prevent new eruptions of violence.
So I try to encourage them to trust in the Lord in everything. As Christians, there shouldn't be any revenge or any reprisal.
Rural conflict spares no community. Isa is Fulani and Muslim. He has found refuge with relatives in a livestock reserve after the inter-community violence that followed the 2011 presidential election. Here, his herd can graze safely without the risk of invading another people's land.
We lived very well with the Christian communities, but after the 2011 election, the Fulani villages were attacked. They killed the Fulani, destroyed their camps and their cattle. 80 people from my clan were killed the same day. With God's help, we were able to escape with a few cows. We were in danger until we moved here.
This reserve is an island of peace and stability for Fulani communities that have decided to settle despite their isolation. The Nigerian government has been promising for 30 years to open other reserves, but nothing has come of the projects, to the great dismay of livestock associations.
The land has always been and will continue to be static. It will not increase an inch. Therefore, the competition only goes to affect the life of the pastoralists. So, the importance of gazetting grazing reserves and encouraging these people to settle down into them cannot be overemphasized.
With nearly 200 million inhabitants, Nigeria's population boom is increasing pressure on natural resources. Rural conflict is a complex question to which the government has so far failed to provide any concrete answers. Without any political will, reconciliation between herders and farmers remains a distant prospect.